This is Valley View News.
Hundreds of people gathered in Santa Monica to protest the violence occurring in Venezuela. Airline officials informed families of the passengers that no one survived on missing Malaysian Flight 370. Police in Northridge uncover a pipe bomb found on a man after suspecting he possessed a destructive device.
Welcome to Valley View News. I'm Nelsie Carrillo.
And I'm Esmeralda Curiega. Malaysian airline officials have told the relatives of the missing passengers that nobody on the flight survived. A British satellite company and accident investigators found new information on the whereabouts of the missing Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. Malaysia's Prime Minister held a press conference to announce the discoveries.
It is therefore with deep sadness and regret that I must inform you that according to this new data, Flight MH370 ended in the southern Indian Ocean.
At the time of the Prime Minister's news conference, searchers had not found any wreckage from the missing flight. 10 aircrafts, including planes from U.S. and China, continue investigating along the search area.
Hundreds of people gather in Santa Monica to protest against the ongoing violence in Venezuela. Valley View News reporter Lena Nasiri spoke to demonstrators who say the country faces a political crisis.
Protest organizer Jesusa Martinez Queen is in Santa Monica fighting for Venezuelan citizens' rights.
Venezuela right now is under a dictatorship, and we need the world to be aware of what is going on with us.
Many people living in Los Angeles rallied against Venezuela's corrupt and violent government. People waved their flags and held their signs to raise awareness. Protester David Mayastres says Venezuela has no freedom of the press.
For the last couple of years, they had managed to shut down a lot of the press, the printed press and the TV press, very successfully, and so there is a lack of media happening and sharing information.
Venezuela is the biggest exporter of oil in Latin America and is facing its biggest anti-government protests in decades. Over a dozen people have been killed and over 500 arrested in the conflict. Actress Maria Conchita Alonso says students are not protected.
There are a lot of kids a lot of students that are being killed now every day because the National Guard and the Castristas, which are the Cubans, communists that have been taken to Venezuela to be part of the National Guard, they're attacking. The students have nothing to defend themselves.
Students were also remembered by candlelight on the beach. Protests in Venezuela are ongoing as crime rates and inflation continue to skyrocket.
So many people gather here in Santa Monica to raise concerns for Venezuelans who are suffering back home. Reporting in Santa Monica, Lena Nasiri, Valley View News.
Hundreds of alleged supporters of exiled Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi have been sentenced. They were sentenced to death in connection to an attack on a police station that killed an officer. Their group was convicted after a mass trial that lasted for only 2 sessions. The verdict brought mixed reactions. Egypt's military toppled the government in July after countrywide demonstrations demanded Morsi's resignation. He was Egypt's first democratically elected president following the ouster of longtime leader Hosni Mubarak.
About 170,000 gallons of tar-like oil have spilled into a Texas waterway. A boat carrying the oil hit another vessel in the Houston Ship Channel and injured 6 crew members. Oil and tar-like globs were detected 5 miles along the shoreline of the town of Texas City. Wildlife was also affected by the spill. 45 miles southeast of the dike is the Boulevard Flats Shoreboard Sanctuary, home to 70,000 birds. 10 birds have been found covered in oil. More than 380 people, along with a fleet of oil retrieving skimmers, are working to clean up the spill.
The San Fernando Valley had an unexpected bomb scare last week. Strongman Awesome is in the newsroom with the story.
A pipe bomb was discovered in a car, prompting evacuations and causing confusion. We take a look back to the situation. Authorities closed off a 2-block radius starting from Devonshire and Reseda based on the possibility of a bomb. Police pulled the suspect over into an Arco gas station and discovered a pipe bomb in the vehicle. Captain Carmona and Sergeant Torres of the LAPD spoke in detail.
During a search of the car, they located some burglary tools and observed what they believed to be a pipe bomb on the floorboard. We called in our bomb squad, who came out and checked the device and determined that it wasn't explosive. They removed that device with a bomb robot and detonated it.
Is it just LAPD or is it a joint investigation?
It actually is a joint investigation at this point. We have the FBI here, of course, our LAPD bomb squad, and some of our more critical investigative units due to the nature of the investigation.
We also talked to the residents and witnesses for their take of the situation.
I was on my way home from school. I usually take Devonshire all the way down and saw a police tape. I was gonna just keep going, but then I realized that it was blocked off pretty far, so I got out and noticed that they had blocked off that area around the gas station.
When the officer told us that they found more materials to make more bombs. So, as far as we know, we are here stuck 6 hours. So, hopefully everything goes okay. Nobody got hurt.
LAPD is still investigating the incident. Back to you in the studio.
100 people were reported missing after a mudslide in Washington state. Officials confirmed 14 people were killed, and they expected the number to go higher. The landslide was triggered after heavy rain along State Route 530. It was washed away at least 6 homes. City officials compare the event to other natural disasters.
Total devastation. And it's just unbelievable. It reminds me of what a tornado looks like.
Washington State Lieutenant Governor Brad Owen declared a state of emergency in Snohomish County. An 8-car Chicago commuter train derailed into a platform and escalator, injuring 32 people. Officials say no one suffered life-threatening injuries at O'Hare International Airport. The injured were taken to 4 different hospitals, but most were able to walk away from the wreckage. The Chicago Transit Authority said the crash happened at 2 in the morning and the station was nearly empty. Officials say the train appeared to be going too fast and didn't stop at the end of the tracks.
There is a stop down there for each track. There's 3 tracks coming in. The train actually climbed over the last stop, jumped up on the sidewalk, and then went up the stairs.
CTA investigators along with firefighters and police are looking over the security footage to pinpoint what caused the crash.
An organization in Linwood is using music to help disabled children feel accepted.
Every Friday night, this cafe becomes a musical stage for young people with special needs. Each of them either sing or dance a song of their favorite artist for a crowd of joyful admirers. These young people belong to Hopes and Dreams, an organization where parents bring love and a space for their children to interact. Founder Ruben Alvarez says their intention is to integrate these young people into our society because parents often marginalize them. He says many parents do not accept their child's condition and hide them in a world of solitude. Xochitl Rosal was born with spinal bifida, a birth defect that involves the incomplete development of the spinal cord. Her sister Iliania is mentally challenged. Joining this group has been more than a blessing for their mother. Rosal says before knowing about the program, her daughters were more timid and quiet. Coming here to Café Canela has helped her daughters find new friends. Music therapist Christine Legal says music is a beneficial tool.
I think they're just having fun making music, playing on instruments and singing. They don't realize all the goals and objectives we have within the activities we're doing in the session.
The program has brought satisfaction in Olvia Curial's life. Her mother, special education teacher Luz Curial, says Olvia desires to have a career. Luz says although Olvia has Down syndrome, her teachers have told her she has the capability to learn. She loves to write, that she wants to go to college to become a writer. The only goal for Hopes and Dreams is to bring happiness to these young people. The founders hope other families will follow their journey.
This group has received great support from the community that, in fact, when it first started, there were only 5 members. Now there are more than 70 who come here to Café Canela every Friday night. For more information, you can call 310-631-5010. Reporting from Linwood, I'm Nelsie Carrillo for Valley View News.
Doctors have found that women with a certain breast cancer gene can develop uterine cancer. Doctors say a faulty BRCA1 gene that is linked to breast cancer is also linked to ovarian cancer. In a study of 300 women, doctors found 4 who had an aggressive form of the cancer despite having their ovaries removed. Doctors recommend those women should be screened for breast cancer often. Doctors also say the women should have their ovaries removed after they are done having children. About 1 in 400 women in the U.S. and Europe have had bad BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes that raise the risks of breast and ovarian cancer. Last year, actress Angelina Jolie had both of her breasts removed due to a BRCA1 mutation.
Denmark has been named the happiest country in the world in the 2013 Happiness Report. Norway came in second, Switzerland was third, Canada was named the 6th happiest country. Most of the happiest countries are in Scandinavia. The report analyzes life expectancy, gross domestic product, per capita, social support, generosity, and freedom to make life choices. Officials hope the report improves the world's social, economic, and environmental well-being.
A group of undocumented students, also known as the Dreamers, recently tried to cross the U.S.-Mexico border as part of a demonstration. The Dreamers asked for political asylum, and their cases are currently being reviewed. Valley View's Ruby Martinez sat down with Eileen Throx to talk about the Dream movement. Throx is a journalist and author of the book Dreamers.
Thank you, Eileen, for being here with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the Dreamers. Who are the Dreamers and why have they received attention nationally but also internationally?
Well, the Dreamers are the members of this generation, these young people who were brought to the U.S. by their parents, undocumented, when they were very young, some of them 1, 2, 3 years old, some of them months. And they grew up in the U.S. like any other American kid. They went to the school, they learned to speak English. They just lived their lives just like an average American kid, but when they finish high school, when they become adults at 18 years old, they realize that they are not allowed to keep going with their lives, going to college, look for a job.
And what's their mission? What are they asking for?
Well, the name of the Dreamers is because there's a legislative piece in Congress presented in 2001. The DREAM Act, and if this law passes, it will allow this generation to have a regular immigration status in the country. They will have a green card, they will have a path to citizenship under certain requirements.
And I mean, can you talk about how the Dreamers, how have they transformed the immigration debate in this country?
Yes, of course. I think when we talk about immigration, we always think in the big picture. We think about numbers, 11.5 million people. We think about politics, partisanship, but we don't think about stories. We don't think about real people. What happens when an immigrant family comes to the country with small children? How do they learn to speak English? How are they going to school? What happens if they get sick? So what Dreamers are doing is just sharing their stories, putting a face on the immigration debate to let us know that this is not only a political issue, this is a human rights issue and a social justice issue.
And can you tell us about the Dream 9 and Dream 30 movement?
Well, this is an interesting movement. What has happened to some Dreamers is that when they reach 18 years old or more, they finish high school, they realize they don't have any open doors in the future. Dream 9 and Dream 30, what did was to approach to the border and present themselves to immigration authorities and look for a legal return to the U.S., either through a humanitarian visa or through a political asylum.
Now, I know you're very knowledgeable in the subject and you've done extensive research, and of course you wrote the book Dreamers, and you're also a supporter of the movement. What would you say to those against it and the ones that say, well, Dreamers are just pushing their luck and they really aren't entitled to anything?
what I feel, I mean, anyone is entitled to have their own opinion, but what I feel is that many of those opinions are made without having the whole information. In my experience, when I meet people and I start telling the stories, or I'm in a situation where a dreamer starts telling their own story, they're still fighting to stay here because they want to study, to work here, to give back to this country. For me, there's nothing more American than that.
Well, thank you, Elaine, for being here with us today. And back to the studio.
Thank you.
El Camino Real Charter High School has won California's 2014 academic decathlon. The six-time national champions dominated the two-day competition, scoring almost 58,000 out of a possible 65,400 points. They will compete for the national title in Honolulu next month.
An Anaheim police dog named Bruno has survived a gunshot wound. Officers were searching for 3 men suspected of violating their parole. Anaheim Police Lieutenant Tim Schmidt says one of the suspects fired on officers and the dog. The shot struck the dog in the face. Although Bruno is recovering, he is unlikely to return to work. He is expected to remain at the veterinarian's office for at least 6 weeks. A fund was established to cover Bruno's medical bills.
Coming up next in sports, we have news on the upsets of March Madness.
And the stabbing of an NFL player.
Adopting a new pet is a rewarding experience. And shelter pets make super pets. Your new best friend will steal your heart, bring you happiness, and enrich your life for years to come. You can make a difference in the life of an animal. Adopt and bring home a shelter pet today. To find out more, visit theshelterpetproject.org.
Thanks for calling the GED Pep Talk Center. Jerry Stiller speaking. Your level 7 in-your-face pep talk.
I can keep pushing. Believe me, I'm good at it.
Once you've got your GED diploma, you'll feel so good about yourself.
You tell them.
Mr. Trejo, can I transfer this guy to you? He needs something a little more
Persuasive?
Yes.
Whatever motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Get your GED pep talk and find free classes at yourged.org.
So Amelia, let's talk basketball. How did the first week of March Madness go?
Well, a lot of people's brackets are ruined, leaving many basketball fans disappointed. But first, Tampa Bay Buccaneers receiver Mike Williams has been stabbed in the leg. The football player was not seriously injured and was released the same night. Williams' brother Eric Baylor is being accused of the assault. The attack took place in the receiver's home in Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers say they are aware of the situation and are working on gathering additional information. It was just too good to be true. Kentucky snapped the perfect storybook ending for Wichita State. With 3 seconds left, Wichita had possession but couldn't convert on a 3-point attempt. The Shockers' route to the big dance was not going to be an easy one. They were going to have to meet up with underseeded teams just like Kentucky. Shockers coach Greg Marshall wasn't disappointed with how the season ended.
Just excited to be sitting here with these gentlemen, and the joy that they brought us all year long will live with me forever. So congratulations to Kentucky.
Wichita was not the only team to suffer a surprising loss. It was a David versus Goliath battle, powerhouse Kansas versus Pac-12 Stanford. However, Stanford sent an experienced team to the postseason, while Kansas sent a team heavy with talent. Kansas freshman phenom Andrew Wiggins only scored 4 points. Stanford had 4 players in double figures. Kansas had one last chance to send the game into overtime, and this is how it played out.
Camp with 4, gets the shot away, it's wide of the mark, into the arms of Powell, and Stanford will advance to Memphis.
Some Kansas fans were distraught with the loss. CSUN looked anything but a 16th seed against number 1 seed South Carolina in the NCAA tournament. Even with a disappointing loss, 73-58, there were many highlights for the Matadors. CSUN's Janae Sharp put up 26 points against a team who controlled the SEC this past season. The team also shot more than 70% from the charity strip. Despite their loss, the Matadors had a historic year, with junior Ashley Goa receiving Player of the Year. Coach Jason Flowers was named Coach of the Year, and Janae Sharp was awarded Defensive Player of the Year. Our Hannah Townsley reports on a viewing party the campus sports grill held during the tournament game.
Even though the NCAA game took place in Seattle, people here at home still came out to show support at a viewing party for the CSUN women's basketball team. Many students and supporters gathered to watch the game on the big screen. There were a lot of cheers and criticism throughout the game. Some CSUN students talked about why they came out to show support.
I think it's tight that a team so small, like, usually wouldn't think of a team like Cal State Northridge that would make it to like the NCAA Women's Championships.
A pivotal point in the game was in the second half when Ashley Gouye fell and hit her head, causing her to walk away from the rest of the game. Female athletes from the water polo team also came out to watch the game. Some of them talked about how they were encouraged that another women's team made it this far in this division.
They're doing awesome and they're representing the women's sports at this school, which is super important. And a lot of people here don't know that this is a Division I athletic school, and they're being so successful right now playing in the NCAA championships.
I think it's really cool because I think a lot of people like underlook the women's athletics, and so for them to represent and to really show this, I think it gives women athletics in general like a bigger name, and people will come out and support more.
The Matadors didn't win the game. Other supporters expressed how proud they are of the players and the coach, saying,
Coach Flowers has done a wonderful job rebuilding this program, and I believe he's in his fourth year, and he's definitely got the ladies going in the right direction, and it's something that's great to see, and that this experience is something that the ladies will cherish for the rest of their lives.
And unfortunately, since the game ended in a Matador loss, people hope to see that they make it further in the next season. Back to you.
FC Barcelona now moves one step closer to catching their league rivals Real Madrid at the top of the table after getting a hard-fought 4-3 victory. The annual El Clásico between the Spanish soccer giants did not disappoint. 7 goals, 3 from penalty kicks, a hat trick from superstar Lionel Messi, and a red card for Real Madrid defender all made the clash one to remember. Real Madrid is sitting on 70 points this season, tied with city rivals Atletico Madrid atop the La Liga standings. Barcelona, after getting the 3 points for beating Real Madrid, sits in second with 69 points. Jonathan Quick earned his 172nd career victory, all in a Kings uniform. Quick made 24 saves, beating the Florida Panthers 4-0. Dustin Brown, Trevor Lewis, Mike Richards, and Alec Martinez all scored for the Kings, with back-to-back wins. The toughest save Quick had to make against the Panthers came 3 minutes in the second period during a power play. He dove to his left at the last second to glove a short backhander by Thomas Fleischman. Quick is in the second season of a $58 million 10-year contract. Quick has also won 47 games that were either decided in overtime or a complete shutout. This was the 30th shutout Quick's career, too shy of Raji Vashon's franchise mark. The Dodgers completed the sweep down under. Yasiel Puig came out big in the second game, hitting 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs. The Cuban-born star hit a line drive into left field for a stand-up double and RBI in the top of the 5th. Some were worried about his fitness as he came back to the Dodgers a little heavier than last season. The Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks in the first game 3-1 and 7-5 in the second game. The MLB says the weekend in Australia produced near sellout crowds. That does it for sports. I hope the LA teams can keep up the good work.
Thanks, Amelia. Me too. Coming up in entertainment, Kim Ye makes an appearance on the cover of Vogue.
And a Homeland star passed away.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
Being a dad can be tough.
No. What do you mean she's not coming?
When's the fairy princess coming?
Any minute now.
But when you're willing to do anything,
it is I, Grooves, Zinkelpel. Okay, time for cake.
It's always worth it.
I know it's really you, Drew. I'm just pretending for the other kids.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
So Rebecca, Kim and Kanye are in the news again.
That's right. Hashtag world's most talked about couple. It finally happened for Kim Ye. Kim Kardashian and Kanye West graced April's cover of Vogue magazine. Kim wore a cream-colored wedding dress as her soon-to-be groom wore a blue suit as he held his fiancée tightly. The issue comes out later this month. It comes as a surprise since there have been rumors that editor-in-chief Anna Wintour disliked the Kardashian. Kim was strategically cropped out of last year's Met Gala Best Dressed Galleria. Wintour says she has no dispute with the couple. In an editor's letter, Wintour explained the couple has an impact on today's culture. Former Beatle John Lennon's artwork is going on sale to the public. A collection of his drawings and poems from the 1960s will soon go on sale in New York City. The collection, called You Might As Well Arsk, yes, I said arsk, is a clever British way to say ass. A Sotheby's auction house has estimated the items valued at $800,000. The artwork will give a glimpse into John Lennon's life that few got to know while he was alive. Famed actor James Rebhorn has died at the age of 65. The actor was diagnosed with skin cancer for many years. He died in New Jersey with his family by his side. Rebhorn recently played Frank Matheson on the Emmy-nominated show Homeland. Although many people did not know his name, they knew his face as he played an arrogant headmaster in Al Pacino's Scent of a Woman. He also played the scheming Secretary of Defense in Independence Day. Rebhorn was a member of the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences and the New York Ensemble Studio Theater. Divergent became the #1 movie at the box office. The novel-turned movie brought in $56 million during its opening weekend. The film stars Shailene Woodley and Kate Winslet. It tells the story of a young woman fighting for survival in a crumbling, lawless city. Divergent sequel Insurgent is scheduled to begin shooting in May to be released next March. Muppets Most Wanted followed in second with $16 million. Stars like Tina Fey and Ricky Gervais made appearances. Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher are expecting their first baby. The news comes a month after the couple announced they are getting married. The former stars of That 70s Show have been dating for about 2 years. Sources say the pregnancy is something that both wanted. It is not clear how far along Kunis is in her pregnancy. Marvel Studios will be releasing a new film based on the comic book Guardians of the Galaxy. The group of heroes is not one of the Marvel Comics' most popular bunch, but Marvel Studios hopes to change that. The heroes are space bandits who go around saving different galaxies from an assortment of bad guys. Some of the stars of the movie consist of Parks and Recreation's TV actor Chris Pratt, actress Zoe Saldana, and wrestling star Dave Bautista. The movie will also have the voices of Bradley Cooper and Vin Diesel. The movie is set to release on August 1st. Now back to you guys.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thanks for watching. I'm Nelsie Carrillo.
And I'm Esmeralda Curiega. Have a good week.